Okay, good evening, everybody. Right now, I'm just waiting to see how many people show up and also to see if I got sound. I'm just waiting to see. Okay, good evening, everybody. Right now, I'm just waiting to see how many people show up and also to see. Okay, so far we got two people, one of which is me. And we'll just let this stroll on here for a second before we get to what I'm going to be discussing tonight, which is um, rather strange individual that showed up recently. Uh, by recently, I mean 2 years ago. But lately, this individual is um, creating a little bit of a firestorm. Now as some of you might know, she put up a 86-page quote unquote report on um, the state of Florida discovery page having to do with the E-Clause murder trial that will be forthcoming in um, November. The problem is that um, just about everything she says are lies. But one of the things that she put into the uh, so called report was a claim that uh, there was a get home Seth, get her, get everybody um, plan of some kind. Which means this woman is throwing her little pity party. Now, I'm not so sure why she's doing this, other than she has a rather close relationship, supposedly, with Mr. Holmseth. Um, she basically worships the ground that he walks on, and you gotta kind of wonder why. And there is one possible answer. Not an affirmative answer, but a possible answer. See, um, all right, where is. Now, she claims to be a business woman in Canada, and um, she claims to be a woman. But what if she was something else? What if there's something unusual about this woman? And what could possibly be unusual about this woman? Well, I wonder if you folks remember the articles that Tim Holmesworth used to put out, and he would put out articles about fish people, lizard people, clones, mole people, all sorts of people. Now, that would lead one to wonder if possible for this woman question mark could be something else. I don't know why that didn't do what I wanted it to do, but that's okay. But, anyway, gotta wonder. Is this the real IBT or whatever people want to call her or him or it? That's for everyone to decide. That's for everyone to wonder if possibly this individual is in fact something else. But that's what we're at here. Because Tim Holmseth seems to believe that there are fish people around the world. So maybe this is a fish person. Doesn't look like it's gonna. So I just came in and I just wanted to explore this possibility. Possibility that we have a lizard person in the Holmseth camp. Um, Tim Holmseth recognizes that there are fish people, mole people, and so forth. And there's also a possibility we're looking at a trans lizard person. Now, this woman, he, she, or it, claims that someone made a post that's not her that says she's a trans, that she's looking for some good times and so forth. And hello, Catherine. Uh, I guess you could call it, what is that? But this is a individual who goes by the name of um, Alexandra C, and she is Tim Holmes's quote unquote researcher. But, one has to wonder if there's something else going on here. If she is, in fact, a lizard person. Because we went through this with Tim Holmeseth. Tim Holmeseth says there's um, lizard people and fish people among everyone out there. So is this thing a lizard person? Kind of interesting to think about. But, I'm not the one that's bringing this up. Everybody else is bringing this up in um, the internet because there just seems to be something a little peculiar about this person. Um, There's no proof that she is male or female other than what are in pictures. Nobody has met this individual in perfect. Um, yeah, she does. Because you know this is what she put up about me. She claims that I am Whitey Boulder, and um, that they're accusing me of being involved in the Delphi murders and all of that nonsense. So, and okay, and so this is where we're at now. Over on Telegram, she's been having quite a bit of a problem over there, and she put up a thing where she is complaining that people are putting up things calling her trans and all this stuff, and at the same time, making these claims about Whitey Bulger and all of that. So it's just this continuation of uh, her nonsense. Now, in the so called report that she sent to um, the state of Florida, this nefarious network malarkey or what have you, um, she put this up. And, it's stupid, you can see right here in this montage that Tim produced that I do not look like Mr. Boulder, never have looked like Mr. Boulder. Uh, and, it's anyone with any common sense knows that this is crap, but they keep doing it anyway. Um, and so you come up with something like this, and it just, it's just, you have to wonder, what the truth is here. And welcome, Mark. So, but we have um, these goings ons where this woman accuses everybody of being a pedophile. Well, she, according to whoever got this picture, this is her. Um, and she has not denied that it's her. Um, so I gotta grow here. So, what is the truth here as far as who this person is? Um, you know, Another possibility that's been raised is that she may be a honeypot. Um, she may be a part of a sleeper cell from Russia, brought here to infiltrate American conspiracy theory sites um, for the express purpose of influencing them to work against the United States, um, and to trick these people into supporting Putin, because virtually every one of the so-called patriot movement, or a large number of them, are supporters of Vladimir Putin and Russia, and are against the um, Ukrainians. So that would make one wonder if possibly she is someone who is working on behalf of a foreign government, such as the Soviet country of Russia. Um, well, uh, that's something that could be done. Now, the original image uh, that this came from is here. This is the picture that has largely been put up over on Telegram in the um, site over there, that this is supposedly her, that this is her real identity, and so forth. But we don't know that. And now this could really be her, but the name could be fabricated like the same way. And I'm getting into a coughing fit here. Excuse me for that. Uh, but they made, this woman in particular has made this elaborate claim about me being Whitey Bulger, and that the FBI went through this big thing about um, and I don't get sound. So I'm going to do a little bit of on-air editing here. This is just kind of a informal channel tonight. Okay. But this is the picture that has been transmitted throughout the internet as being her. And so we only have the word of um, the Homeseth crowd that this is in fact um, a woman and has a strange name, and that she's supposedly a resident of Canada, and she owns a business. Now, she's in the report, strangely enough, she denies that a web page that has been widely known and published on the internet is not, in fact, not hers. It's somebody else. So, that's kind of an interesting claim to be made because the last time I checked that website, it was rather innocuous. It was simply a advertisement for this business that is supposedly um, trains people as to how to properly inject Botox, if I remember correctly. And now she's saying this is not true. So, what is this business? Is it an actual business or not? And another possibility that has been raised in regards to her and her so called business is this may be merely a front to launder money from the various charities set up for Mr. Homestead because there has been no audit as to the total amounts that Mr. Homestead has received on each of these businesses or each of these um, e-bag sites. There has not been an accounting as to where the money is dispersed to. All you see is there's a claim on each and every one of these donation sites that he's received X amount of money. He's got one fund that's set up to buy him a $40,000 car. He's got another one to cover his expenses on the road. He's got another that is supposedly so that he can send information to Mr. Trump and on and on and on. And then he's got a business where he sells souvenirs. And so out of all this, uh, where's the accountability? Does he have a tax number for his online business? Is he reporting his income to the Internal Revenue Service? And is there a detailed um, accounting for this money? Because there are laws almost globally that if you have an amount over $10,000 that you have received in any given year, um, as part of any kind of a charity business or what have you, this has to be reported to the Internal Revenue Service. And it has to be reported by the entity that is hosting the charity. So, are these various charities that are publishing Mr. Homeseth's e-bags reporting his income to the IRS? And reporting the various donations. There's limits as to how much people can give before it's reported to the IRS, because even large donations can be reported. And he's had some substantial donations on that channel. So, you know, while that's quite true, although there have been cases with um, people in sleeper cells goofing up because they weren't trained properly. And um, case in point is the woman that got in trouble at Mar-a-Lago. Um, she was called a honeypot mainly because of her actions, and she tripped up because she was sloppy in what she was doing, and so she was caught. So, saying that she would be the female version of a female version of James Bond, I don't see it. I think this woman may be, if this is a case of her being a honeypot, is someone that um, may have been approached by someone else who just happens to be in the uh, sleeper cell in Canada and persuaded her that it would be a good idea to get close to Tim Holmseth and do this propaganda. Now, if you look at how organized these people are with all this media they're doing, with Tim Holmseth's um, webpage, for example, this timothycharlesholmseth.com, and if you look at the old blog, you notice that all of a sudden everything changed with that blog. Um, there was it was completely redesigned graphically um, from the old blog. It was moved into a different category, the whole 9 yards, and it looks like more of something that whoever created the blog is someone who has experience in writing in a blog, organizing a blog, and coming up with things. And a skill set that Timothy Charles Holmes says simply does not have. And so if you do a comparative analysis between the old blog and the new blog and the old material that Tim Holmes used to put up and the later material, you see a lot of differences. Now, um, some of this stuff, some of the areas in this is sloppy. They're made, they're designed more or less to make Holmesat look like an idiot. This war correspondent business. Now, I don't care where you are on the political spectrum, if you're Q or MAGA or extreme right, middle, left, whatever, you're going to recognize the simple fact that Tim Holmesat is not a war correspondent. He's not anything to be, perfectly clear on the situation, but he goes around calling himself a war correspondent. This is self glorification. Now, if this was an intelligently run organization, they would not allow Tim Holmesat to do that. But the fact that they allow Tim Holmesat to call himself a war correspondent means that they're trying to keep him in a certain category, and that is somebody that's nutty but believes in the system. In other words, he's an ardent Trump supporter. He loves Trump, so on and so forth. But by coming up with such a convoluted background, being a war correspondent, uh, a media spokesperson for the PPTF, being there's only one person between him and the former president, is nutty. That's a pilot in the bar talk. A guy that goes in, pretends to be a pilot when he's probably a janitor, and trying to get a pickup using this fancy background. He's got a very inflated resume where tiny bits of it are true, but 99% of it is false. He worked for a newspaper, briefly got a press card, but for not very long. You can tell that by the date on the press card. It's not current. And if you call the newspaper and the organization, they say, we kicked him out a long time ago because of some nonsense, including plagiarism. So there's that. But this so called woman gets into a tizzy fit because everybody's out to get Timmy. Everybody's out to get her. Everybody's out to destroy your business. They make fake um, websites. They make fake Twitter accounts, fake this, fake that. And all this because she supports Timmy. Well, let's turn the page. The same thing is true here. This woman is specifically responsible for creating this Whitey Bulger crap. You know, if you want to get right down to it, um, she puts this stuff on on the other things there. You know, she supports the accusation and so forth. What I find funny about this is she makes a big deal about this on the internet. Tim Holseth has made a big deal out of this, yet she did not put this in the so-called report that she sent to the Marion County Courthouse. If this woman believes that I am Whitey Bulger, why didn't she inform the state attorney's office in Ocala that she believes that Whitey Bulger is alive and is going to be heavily involved in the coverage. Mittens is running around. She wants so much for me to be Whitey Bulger, yet she didn't put it in the report. Of course, there's a reason for that because then she'd really be in hot water with the courts. Um, she's in enough hot water with them now with the false statements she's made because she has committed so many acts of perjury, I've lost count. And, I discussed this with the state attorney's office, and, they understand that a lot of this is bullcrap. And, what I'm not sure how far they're going to go with this, but her report can be used by the prosecution and by the defense to show that outside forces were trying to convince Neely Blanchard that that Chris Hallett was genuine and he was getting help from all these government people and that he was going to get her children back. But somehow on that weekend, which will come out in court, I've already published this stuff, but they don't know how to listen or read, but it's going to come out in court that something happened on the weekend of the murder to switch her from being for Chris Hallett, what he was doing, believing in what he's doing, promoting E-Claws, having an E-Claws plate on her car, to believing that he was involved in the very things that Tim Homeseth accuses all of us from being involved in. And she murdered him. And she got so worked up that she went temporarily insane. This is the defense in the case, that Neely Blanchard was temporarily insane, and that when she was temporarily insane, she murdered Chris Hallett. And so she should be found innocent by reason of temporary insanity. Now, this is a very difficult plea to win in court. But they're going to try. Now, I guess they're banking on the Casey Anthony situation, but um, but that's what's going on here. Okay, and one thing I wanted to do is, and it's not going to work. I got to bring out something else. Um, but there is a piece of discovery evidence that I'm still waiting for from the court that is going to answer a question about who is being subpoenaed to the court and having to bring um, evidence with them. Uh, I got into this last night on my previous show that there is a okay now in the Delphi case. Um, there he came out with a long motion uh, that states that they were ritualistically sacrificed by cult members who painted blood at the crime scene. The 136-page motion that the attorneys requested at a Frank's hearing claimed that the real perpetrators are being belong to white nationalist religious group known as Odinist, adding that the evidence strongly supports an organized pagan cult as being the killers. So this motion is just adding another set of bizarre things to this case. Uh, these are supposedly members of a pagan Norse religion, and it was hijacked by white nationalists. And the thing that's interesting about these claims is that the teenagers are both white. Now, why would white supremacists kill white teenagers? And, so that this case is turning into be quite weird. Um, this is almost as bad as the Casey Anthony case, where a number of um, individuals were accused by the defense of being involved in the murder of Kaylee Anthony. And one suspect was the father, another was the poor meter reader who found her body to be Kaylee's body to begin with, and just so this thing with the Delphi case is rather um, disturbing. Whether or not a jury would buy this claim is, you know, questionable. Um, the the problem with this claim is it has to be proven. Um, there has to be proof beyond a reasonable doubt that this is what happened to these teenagers, and that Mr. Allen was not involved in the crime. Um, and we have Tim Holseth is favoring the innocence of Mr. Allen as well as the innocence of um, Neely Blanchard. Now, what I want to check here real quick. Oh God. Yeah, that's. I can't remember the last time I checked if I did this during the day or at night to see if there's been anything new on another. I have another discovery request in, um, having to do with um, the black, having to do with this latest thing, and I want to see if they released the information yet. Because it's rather curious as to who might have filed this or who this person is that's going to be subpoenaed in. Nope, still locked. Well, what it is there is a motion for authorization to execute investigative subpoena for defendants' Marion County Jail records. Oh, this is a new one. Motion for authorization to execute investigative subpoena for defendants' Marion County Jail records filed by the state attorney. And what I'm waiting for, okay, it came through. Let me look at this. This is one that I've been wondering about. Oh, this is interesting. Um, this just came through, and what this apparently is the state is going to issue a subpoena ducis tecum to the Marion County Jail. The court reviewed the motion and it is advised in the premises and finds that the nature of the defense raised by the defendant relates directly to defendant's mental state, abilities, and reasoning. The disclosure of medical information held by the Marion County Jail is relevant to the just and expeditious disposition of this proceeding. Therefore, it is adjudicated and ordered as follows. The Office of the State Attorney is authorized to execute a subpoena ducis tecum for the complete, unredacted Marion County Jail records, including, but not limited to, medical and health records and disciplinary referrals of Neely Petrie Blanchard, ordered on September 14th, 2023. So, by reading between the lines on this, it looks like Neely Blanchard may have gotten into a little bit of problems at the jail and may have disciplinary uh, recommendations or actions taken against her. Now, I would not be able to get the medical information on Miss Blanchard, but I might be able to get whatever the disciplinary actions are. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time because the subpoena has to be issued uh, to the Marion County Jail. They would have to compile the reports, send it to the state attorney's office, and then I would have to, once it comes up on the page, then I would be able to get a copy of everything but the medical. The medical, because of HIPAA laws and all that stuff, is not uh, available to the general public, but will be used in court, so it would come out then. So there's that to look forward to at some point down the road, probably close to October. Now, with that, there doesn't seem to be anything else at this time um, because the motion for the jail records has not been, there's 3 pages of it, and that was issued on the 15th. So, what I will do is I will um, send a request to have that unlocked so that at least we know in the 3 pages exactly what the state is asking for. And so that's where we are at tonight. But we got this individual who made the 86-page report to the state of Florida, who has been calling me Whitey Bulger for years and making all this stuff up, saying that I'm trying to assassinate Homeseth and went and got a gun and all this other stuff. Uh, is whining because people are picking on her. They're hurting her fifis. Well, she should have understood when she started all this that when you start going around accusing people of murder and child trafficking and being pedophiles and eating babies and drinking a chemical and making diamonds out of them, they're going to get a little pissed off. And so she's getting a taste of her own medicine. She's mad that people are using her techniques against her. And that's just too damn bad. She should have taken the advice that I personally gave her years ago, along with other people, just to mind her own damn business. If she wants to go after Trudeau and Biden and all these other famous people, to knock herself out, but to leave innocent people who simply express their political and practical opinions alone. but she's not capable of that. And so she's going to suffer the consequences because now people want to know who the hell this person is and what the hell this person is. Is she male, female, or is she a fish person, a lizard person? Is she a honeypot for a foreign country that wooed Timothy Charles Holmes so that she could get into his inner circle and then feed him with all this stuff that he's never done before? There's something strange going on with this woman and what she is doing at the Homestead camp and other people who are also there. What is the background of this person that calls themselves PWS Builder and keeps their identity in the background? Is this another um, sleeper cell member working on behalf of Russia or some other foreign country to interfere with the functions of the United States and act in a way that would have the United States collapse? It's just the elaborate goings on with these people and what's been going on since before the Cynthia Abso case begs the question of exactly who these people are, what is going on, and what is their ultimate intentions. And it certainly is not to save children and to expose pedophiles and child traffickers. Uh, their mission seems to be to confuse the public, try to convince people that uh, these right wing extremists like Tim Holseth is working for a betterment of the country, when instead that they are working to make things worse. And these people might be a dangerous cult group that are out to defeat the United States and end democracy as we know it. Um, and it's something that needs to be looked into by the federal authorities. And I certainly hope that this report that was sent to the state of Florida might trigger an expanded investigation into what these people are up to and hopefully get some people in jail. So, with that, I'm going to end tonight's broadcast. Again, just think things over, check things out, keep a close eye on these people, and see exactly what's going on. Um, these people could be anything from just a bunch of nuts that like to get attention off the internet up to the possibility that this is a massive foreign psyop uh, operation with a express purpose of taking down the United States and ending it as a democracy and turning it into a fascist country. Um, and there would not be a Democrat, Republican, independent form of government. It would be a dictatorship where one individual or group runs the country. There's no such thing as voting or elections. And that might be the direction that they're trying to make this country go. And, you know, got to watch for that, or we're just going to see ourselves repeat 1939 through 1945 all over again. So please like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and share. If I get anything more on the Blanchard case or anything else that might be of importance, I will be on the air once again. So until then, have a good one and good night.